February 16th, 2018, and this is Nerd Bourbon episode 37. This is going to be a little bit of a weird thing because I'm joined with a special guest today, not Todd Sturgill, not your boy Hot Toddy. I'm here with somebody a little different and decidedly more attractive in many ways. So this is going to be kind of a weird episode. This is going to be the Valentine's Day episode, and the audio quality is going to be a little bit weird because we're kind of doing the interview setting on my microphone, so we're going to test this out. It's going to be a weird experimental episode. I'm joined today by my lovely fiancé and girlfriend of the past 7 years, Anastasia.
Heyo.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Your first ever appearance. Anastasia is the one who provides all the art for the show.
Thank you.
Isn't that true?
That you would not be lying.
You're not?
You're not lying.
You ain't wrong. It's kind of weird to be sitting here recording this with you. I don't think you've ever seen me work.
I've heard it.
You've listened to the show, but you've never seen me work
also,
this fucking instrument.
I've also woken up to some crazy stuff at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when you guys are recording.
Oh, well, we try to record when you're either at work. Or
sometimes, yeah.
Because you're fucking disruptive.
I'm super disruptive. I'm the worst. I'm worse
You're
than
always
cat.
like, you're always like, no, you guys could totally record while I'm home.
That's just
and I'm
me
like,
trying to
no,
be,
I can't because you
yeah.
could be as quiet as you want. You would still be stomping around like a Clydesdale.
I'm just saying it to be nice. I don't actually mean it.
So it being Valentine's Day, love is in the air.
Is it?
Love is always in the air. It's love in
flu season.
It's flu season. Love ain't all that's in the air, bitch. But we have kind of an interesting, I guess, love story. That's one way of putting it.
Cool.
But first, let's get the folks at home. Let's get them to know you a little bit better first.
This is my 73 questions with Vogue.
A little bit. I'll be Barbara Walters right now.
Okay. I love her.
Do you really?
Mm-hmm.
You're Barbara Walters fan?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Wow. You learned something.
Tell the folks at home a little bit about yourself. So you are from Washington.
Yes.
Originally.
Yes.
What city were you born in?
I was born in Longview, Washington, and we immediately moved to Barstow, California, where we lived. And I don't know, we left, and then I was back and forth from Washington, Idaho, and then I finally moved to Texas 8 years ago when we met, and then now I'm here. Been here 5 years.
Yeah, it'll be 5 years in March that you've lived with me here in Louisiana. So another precursor, just real quick. If you guys hear any weird background noises, we Ollie and Herbie, our pets. We have kind of a weird setup right now to do this kind of episode. We're like really intimate, literally sitting on like our fucking couch cushions, and our animals don't know how to even
act.
Basically, yeah. So if you guys hear any weird noises, it's them acting a damn fool.
They're very...
I'm gonna try to edit out what I can, but some of it may slip through. This is gonna be a weird sounding episode in general, but so you born in Washington. Then California, then Idaho, right?
Idaho barely counts. It was only like 6 months. But like most of my childhood memories are in California. Mm-hmm. And then Washington.
Mm-hmm. And then you moved to Texas. Why? Well, you moved to. Well, you don't have to go into all the details, but you moved to Texas.
Oh, I moved
to
live
Texas with your best friend.
With my best friend, yeah.
Yeah, and from there, so we met online on OkCupid.
Yeah. A
dating website,
yes.
Which is still around. And OkCupid, the way that it works is like it's basically it pairs you with people within your search settings and match settings. You're given match percentages with people based on like innocuous questions that like it seems like wouldn't be a big deal, but they kind of are. Like, how often do you brush your teeth? Do you smoke weed? How do you feel about how do you feel politically and this, that, and the other and shit like that? And they based on the percentage that your answers are matching, you're given a percentage. So for example, when Anastasia popped up for me, it said like, hey, this chick just looked at your profile and she's so and so miles away. I think 164 miles away at the time, which was like just outside of my search range. And then she was only like a 64% match, which is interesting. It's interesting that we didn't have a higher match percentage. I
That
guess
64% is making more and more sense.
it's becoming more and more clear every day. Opposites attract.
Right.
It's just like Paula said it. You know what I mean? It's a natural fact. We come together because opposites attract.
I didn't know if you were gonna use that, or if that was just trash and you were gonna let it go.
Well, it's all trash. It was true when she said it, and it's just as true today. But why did you make the OkCupid account in the first place?
Well,
were you single and ready to mingle?
Definitely not. I never want to mingle. My best friend had an account, and it was one of those things where she's like, "You should get on there too." And I don't know. I was very much like her hype girl a lot of the time.
You're like a wrestling hype girl.
Yeah, I was always her hype girl. Yeah. Like whenever she had a boyfriend, I had to be dating their best friend. I just like. And
she always got the A meat.
Stop. She did. I was stuck with this B meat.
I got this B meat. This dick is nasty.
Shut up. I never had their dicks. Weirdo. Anyway, yeah, so I was always like her hype girl, and I was just used to that. And she's like, "Oh, make an account." And I was like, "All right." And it was like this bullshit account where I got to like write something stupid. And
so hang on. You're saying that the account that we met on was a bullshit account?
Yeah, super. Mm-hmm. I was never
Okay.
I was never like dedicated to the site. Like I got a lot of like, you were the only one who was like a real person. All the other ones were like all these like sex bots basically. They were just like, "Oh yeah, I want you to do
that's just
this
how men
fetish." Well, yeah. And it was like, "Oh girl, stick this high heel of your shoe up your ass." And
somebody asked you to do that?
yes.
You ever do it?
Definitely not. I mean, did I do it for him, or did I just do it in general? Because those are two different questions. I'm just kidding.
This is a saucy episode indeed.
Yeah. So you were the only one who wasn't like a total scumbag.
It's good to know, I guess. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Do you remember how like I messaged you first? How I broke the ice? Do you remember that? No.
Oh. Oh. This is getting straight there. I actually don't.
It's in your profile. You had your profile picture like total, because I met you when you were 18.
Yeah.
7
remember.
years ago.
I do remember that your main profile picture, you had like 7 toothbrushes in your mouth.
Oh, that was the one?
Yeah. You had like, and they were all like different colors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was an emo kid.
Yeah, your hair was like black and like in your face. Yeah, I think my hair was green on the bottom layer. It was blonde. And
it was blonde, and then you had like turquoise highlights. Yeah. And
I was a scene kid.
I was dyeing my hair black back then, and I was 20, and you were 18, and I messaged you. You had in your profile picture, you had your face. You're kind of like I'm so cute, but you had like your blanket like this. For the folks at home, I'm holding the blanket to kind of cover my half of my almost like a cuddly Phantom of the Opera, kind of holding like a blanket over your face a little bit. And
I don't even know what picture.
It was a Batman blanket.
Oh my god, that story is so tragic.
What?
Tell the
folks. Recount your tragedy.
I'm tearing up. No, that was my favorite blanket. I sound like a 5-year-old, but it was just like a really cozy blanket. And, I was driving down the highway and my windows were all rolled down and my blanket flew out the window. It literally flew out the window and it was shredded by an 18-wheeler after me. Because I pulled over to get it. I was like, oh my God, something flew out. That's dangerous. That's like, and also it was my blanket, but, it was shredded up. And then I went to go find another one. I couldn't even remember what I got that one, but I've had it for so long.
Dang.
And I was so upset.
That sucks.
And like it was really nice. My aunt was like, "Oh, I got you a Batman blanket," and I was like, "It's not the same." Like there's part of me that was like, "Ew, that's not." But it was nice of her. But it wasn't the same.
You got me the stupid Batman.
It wasn't the same one. So.
I broke the ice because you had one of the things in the OkCupid profile at the bottom of it. It's like it says something along the lines of like, if you want to talk to me, what do you say? Something like that. Like what, like how could our first conversation be initiated? And you wrote, "Guess who my favorite superhero is."
Oh, okay.
So my first message to you
I
was
wonder
just
how far you had to go for that one, Sherlock.
the bottom of it.
Yeah. No, I mean for the
to figure out the answer. Yeah. So I just messaged like, "Batman, it's Batman. I think it's Batman. You got a Batman blanket." And we talked about.
Did you just say Batman?
No, I don't remember exactly what I said, but it was basically I said I was probably clever. I was probably clever and awesome.
You always said really.
I was probably just really, really smart and sophisticated and sexy.
Yeah, super.
But
none of those were wrong.
But I said I just kind of guessed that, and it went from there. I don't remember. It wasn't too long until you started kind of like telling me a little bit about yourself and your station in life at that point. But the conversation went from there, and that was on August 27th, 2010. Was when that happened. And we talked, that sort of began a relationship where we talked like basically nonstop. When I wasn't at work, I was on OkCupid, like just refreshing it, like talking to you.
Well, we worked opposite shifts even then too. I worked overnight. It was.
Now it's the opposite of that, where I work overnight and you work during the day.
I wouldn't call it overnight. I worked night shift. I got off at like 2.
You got off at like 2 or 3 or something like that. But I would literally, and you would call me when you got off of work and stuff, even though I was working at GameStop at like 8 in the morning. No, I never called
you. Remember, I never gave you my number for like months.
It was about a month. So, because a month later, like we on OkCupid messaged a lot, and then it evolved into a little bit of texting. Texting inevitably like took over because it's just more convenient, and then phone calls, and we went on like that for about a year. But on September 27th, so exactly a month, weirdly, not planned, that was when I realized that something was kind of special, and I was like, I think I can, I think I can feel comfortable in telling this person that I have feelings for her, and kind of like throwing those cards out on the table. And I'm not a person that does that easily. Like only talking to somebody for a month before saying that you love somebody is pretty like I've never done that before. I've never like fallen in love with somebody so quickly before. But it just sort of felt right. I guess. And we, like I said, moved on to texting and phone calls, and that went on for about a year before we actually met, like in person, which is weird to think. Well,
I had, up until recently, like when you proposed to me, I was just like terrified of commitment. And you were as cheesy as this sounds, like the only person that I could see myself, because like I was also one of those people who never wanted kids.
I'm sorry. Our cat is like the fucking rude person in the movie theater right now. He's being an asshole. Go ahead. Okay. Sorry.
I forgot what I was saying. I was one of those people who never, you talk to little girls and you're like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they're like, I want to be a mommy and blah, blah, blah. And
that was what they say?
Yeah, a lot of girls, like they have like their baby dolls and they're like, oh, I'm a mommy. Yeah, I was never that kid ever. I never really wanted kids. And it wasn't until, not even when I met you, I don't want to say when I met you, but it wasn't until like we got serious. Like when it got to when we were talking about like marriage and stuff, where I was like, yeah, I think I could marry you because it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if I had a baby with you. Like, and then it got to where I was like, you know what? Now I do want kids with this person. That's how I knew that you were like.
Well, we got to back up a little bit. So like we met, we talked for a year. It was already established. We were already on like a baby exclusive I love you basis.
Yeah.
And talking, nonstop for a year. And then like I, we were exclusive and in love and blah blah blah. And then like I finally after a year came down to see you for the first time, and we had a really good, just a really great. Do you remember what our first day was?
I actually do remember our first date.
Surprisingly, you want to tell them what it was?
I believe we. Oh man, I don't want to be wrong because I don't want you to get mad because I feel like this is our first date.
Go ahead.
Okay, I remember watching game shows and eating pizza.
That was a thing.
Yeah, I feel like we watched a lot of Baggage.
Yeah, I think Baggage was
Baggage
one.
was one of the ones, and then there was another one that was like similar to Baggage.
Family Feud, probably. I don't know.
Yeah, because
Well, do you remember any of the events of that though? Like the whole. Do you remember that day at all? Like all the other stuff we did? You're like all the other stuff.
Oh, did we do chemo and stuff that day?
No, we didn't do chemo.
No, because that was the reconnection kind of thing, which I'm sure we'll get into later.
So we went to the Houston Zoo.
Oh my gosh, yes, I love the zoo.
And had a really good time there.
Yeah.
And after we basically spent the whole day there because we saw everything.
Everything.
Like we had a map that we marked off.
I remember that the only thing I had was like this ugly eyeshadow that I never used, and it was one of those ones where it was like from when I was in like middle school, and you like dip the stick into the eyeshadow and then you rub, and so anyway, that's all the only form of.
Yeah.
Like
that was the only thing you had to use to mark the
map off, and it was like a purple sparkly color.
Yeah.
We were just like marking, and I remember
so we just we marked that map off, and we spent the whole day there because we wanted to make sure we saw everything. That was our first, and we've done that several times since over the past 7 years.
That was before the Houston Zoo had rhinos, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
because we were there when they were building the enclosure. Well, they were building it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it was 7 years ago.
Being excited, and then the next time we went after that, they were there.
But that was our first date. Was Houston Zoo, and then like afterwards, we were gonna go to like a nice restaurant or something like that. That was the plan. And then like you got really bad anxiety.
Super bad.
I think it was a weekend.
Yeah, I was like, it's
and
Saturday night.
we were driving up to this restaurant that you said would be nice or whatever, and then it was like full of people, and you're like, oh hell no, and you just started freaking out. So we wound up just going to Domino's.
Yeah,
it was Domino's. Do you remember that? Do you remember what kind of pizza it was?
I got a fiery Hawaiian.
No, you didn't.
Are you sure?
We shared the same pizza.
Did we?
It was a chicken bacon ranch pizza.
Was it? That is so not me.
And it's not. It's funny because
so
it was like, the awkward first date thing where like nobody is decisive at all.
I remember it took us a long time.
We're just like sitting there for like 20 fucking minutes in Domino's, and the guy's just like, "You guys ready to order?" We're just, no,
because we literally did not know each other.
Awkward.
It was like
we'd never met in person before. I mean, we had a good time at the zoo, but like that was our first date, so we're just being fucking awkward and weird, and nobody wanted to like take that step of like deciding what pizza they wanted, and you're just like at that time you're really against like red meat and shit like that still, and you're just like, I don't want any red meat on it. And I was like, okay, well this one has chicken, and let's get that. So we got a chicken bacon ranch pizza, which I don't think we've ever gotten again since. Maybe we should get that.
Maybe we
should get that for Valentine's Day. That'd be kind of cool.
I remember. Did it have like? No, it didn't have Alfredo sauce on it. It had like...
Well, it has ranch. Yeah, it's like a white sauce on there.
Yeah. It's totally against anything I would get now.
Yeah.
It really is.
We should get a backup pizza, like just a standard pepperoni.
Right.
Just in case we fucking hate it. We're just getting on Valentine's Day, we get the chicken bacon ranch, just like, oh, this sucks now. But yeah, rather than go to the restaurant, we got that pizza and brought it back to the place you were staying at with your best friend at the time.
Yep.
And we went into this like side room.
Yeah, she had it was like a family room.
Yeah.
It was like kind of like a...
And we just ate that and kind of watched game shows, and it was nice.
I remember because it was late. We went like almost when Domino's was closing.
Yeah.
And so it was late, and it was one of those like late night TV things where like all the Newlywed Game.
Oh,
it was the Newlywed Game and Baggage.
Yep. You're
right. Yeah.
You're right.
And that, like, as weird as it sounds, we connected a lot over those shows because we like got to share our opinions on like dating without like actually having the conversation like, oh, that guy's stupid, like whatever. Yeah. So
Yeah, it was nice. It was a good way to like not be like quite so nervous.
Yeah.
Because I think when
We were
you're,
laughing.
it's so weird because like when you're, there's like a weirdness to first dates because like, especially when it's your first real interaction with a person, even though we had like dozens of hours of conversation before, hundreds even,
Yeah.
and
We,
like knew
for a year.
yeah, for an
Yeah.
entire year and stuff. And but then like when it comes down to it and you're just like in person with each other, you're just awkward. You don't know how the other person is in general. And like I don't know, like all you really had to go on at that point, you're just kind of being weird. You're like attracted to each other and shit still. And you have all of that like stuff, that year of like past, you know, conversation.
Of, like, phone sex.
Yeah, of like
you've had phone sex with this person, but you
have phone sex with this person all the
but
time,
never,
but you can't
kiss
like
them.
kiss them or like hold their hand or whatever without being awkward.
Yeah.
So yeah, like yeah, it was like an awkward first date, but it was kind of cute, I guess, for what it's worth. And then we went back to my hotel room. And the rest is history.
To Netflix and chill.
Yeah, it's Netflix and chill.
No, it was before Netflix.
Yeah. Well, you know, you can read between the lines there. But then the next morning is when I sort of, because, you know, it was weird. We were in a weird place because it was almost like a year of like, we knew what we are, but like, what are we?
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Well, it was another thing where I didn't want to commit to it. Like, I was exclusive to you. I wasn't like entertaining any other guys or whatever, but I just couldn't like call you my boyfriend. Yeah. Like I just did not. I don't know why.
But that was my
that's
question.
What you wanted. It was one of those things where you're like, yeah, be my girlfriend. I want you to be my girlfriend. Say you're my boy. Like I was just like, I'm not doing that. It's scaring me. And I just wanted to put a label on it. You just wanted to like have it be like official and like stop being like, what are we? What are we?
Yeah.
And I completely understand that now, but like 18-year-old Anastasia was like, no.
Yeah, I was like back then it was really important to me to like I wanted to call you my girlfriend. I wanted to put that label on it and shit like that. And you didn't want that. And so we were separated for that really hurt me and stuff.
Yeah.
And
it was hard.
And like, you know, because I didn't want to just like be your friend that like, you know, friends with benefits and said I loved you. Like I didn't want all of that, but without the title, I guess. And so yeah, we were separated for about a year, and you know,
and that was an ugly year.
Yeah,
I hated that year. And like, it sounds weird, but I used to listen to I like got through our breakup, I guess is what you would call it, by listening to your SoundCloud. I listened to a lot. Man, you did what did you sing? Oh, Creep always got me. I would cry when I listened to your cover of Creep. Oh my god.
Why?
Cause I'm about to choke up. I'm choking up.
Choking up,
Oh,
Jesus.
Choking up,
I'm
Jesus.
getting verklempt, Jesus. The vape is.
No, it's already like a really sad song about like feling worthless, basically. And I was like, oh my god, like I knew that
I definitely did feel worthless.
Yeah. I knew that it hurt you, and I cared, but I had to pretend like I didn't care. I was very much one of those people who like just severed it. I was just like, fuck you, I don't want anything to do with you. Like, fuck, get out of my life. And you were like, why? And I was like, don't ask any questions. And man, that hurts.
Yeah.
But like, I just have a lot of like, I had like a lot of emotional problems that I just couldn't like face, I guess. And I was just like, it was easier for me to be like, to just sever it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't easier for you. You wanted like closure, and I was like, no, don't ask me anything. Go away. So
yeah. It's still sort of like that, even when we argue. Like I'm the person that wants to like
talk about it. And
I want to talk it all out, and I want to make sure everything is said and done and has a nice bow on it. And you're just like, oh well, let's just fucking drop it.
Yeah, we still.
So that's but
I'm still like that. I like to detach myself from things when they get too like intense. I guess it's easier to detach yourself. Which is not healthy for anybody listening. That's not healthy.
Not healthy for a blossoming relationship. But,
I'm getting better. I feel like I'm doing a little better.
We're getting better now. We're getting fucking married this year.
Yeah.
But
you've gotten better at tolerating it, or.
So we were separated though for about a year, and tried other things and other
Ew.
didn't tried other penises.
Ew.
Just kidding. No, but we were like dated other people and
Yeah.
stuff, or tried to, and
I didn't date.
it didn't really work. Like neither of us were happy with
Mm-hmm.
anybody else and stuff. And it's funny because you had, we're not going to get into it, but you had like a personal tragedy that it came to pass that you were in like a pretty desperate situation, and because of the year that we had spent on the phone, I was the only number that you still had memorized.
I memorized my great grandmother's number, who has had the same number since I was born. Like before I was born, she's had the same number my entire life, and a lot of my like aunts and uncles' entire life. So obviously I knew hers, and that's how I got like out of the situation, like in the immediate out.
Yeah.
And then you were the second person I called. Like after I knew that I was like immediately out of the situation, I called you.
Yeah.
Because you were the only other number I remembered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny. I was playing WoW with Todd when you called, and when I saw your name like pop up on the phone, I was like, "What the fuck?" Like,
I have to ask something afterwards.
What?
Go ahead. Was he like fuck her?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, like when you were like,
yeah,
oh,
he was
she's just calling.
He's a little bit like, he's like, don't answer that shit.
Yeah.
When I saw that, when I saw your name pop up on the phone, I did have that moment of like, fuck her. Like,
so
why?
you didn't like block me or anything?
No, I didn't block
you.
you.
Delete my number out of your phone?
No, I didn't do anything like that. But I just saw your name pop up or whatever, and I was like, like, this is probably because you had like butt dialed me a few times. So I was like, this maybe is.
That was back when I had a really cheap, gross phone, and like it was really bad at butt dialing people. I
was like, maybe this is just another butt dial, and I think that's kind of what I told Todd. I was like, well, this is probably just another butt dial. Let me just see what it is. Turned out it wasn't.
Yeah.
You were in a really bad situation.
Yeah.
And you just needed anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like really. Not really, because I think you kind of knew that I couldn't like help you. You were like at that time at literally the other side of the country, but.
Well, at that time you were the closest thing I had besides the people that I was with. So I was just like the closest thing to my home, because at this point I wasn't home. Yeah, I was back in Washington.
Yeah, but you called me and you just wanted somebody to talk to about it. And just say like, hey, I'm scared. Yeah. And just wanted somebody to like talk you through it and stuff. And I was that person. Yep. In that time, and when you got back down to Texas, that was kind of when like that moment of you calling me in that sort of time of need and me answering. Really is it like, had I not answered that call, we wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Nothing.
And I'm not trying to be like, I'm so great. No, look at me answering the call.
No, that's how I felt though. But I know you don't feel that way, but that's how I
just
felt.
A fact though, that like we wouldn't be talking right now. None of this would be a thing if that. It's just so funny that like me simply answering that phone call that I just as easily might not have answered. Yep. And none of this would exist.
Thank God you didn't listen to Todd.
Fuck you, Todd.
Fuck you, Todd.
He wasn't like adamant about it, but I think he was just kind of like, yeah, you really? Man. Like, really? Yeah. And I was just like, yeah, just give me like 2 minutes.
He was trying to be your like voice of reason.
Yeah, I think he was trying to be like, yeah, don't
let her hurt you, bro.
Yeah, I think it was that sort of thing. Yeah. But anyway, that kind of re-sparked the flame a little bit of like,
the damsel in distress
ish, but it's sort of like you had grown up. I mean, at that point, thinking about it, from the moment when we first met and you told me you didn't want to be my girlfriend, and then a year off, and then reconnecting. I mean, you're now 20 plus, 20, 21, and I think 20, because you'll be 25, or no, you'll be 26.
Don't tell the people my age.
So yeah, this would put you at 20 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
At this point. So I mean you're basically,
and I did a lot of growing up between 18 and 20, which is really like, you don't think about that being like a pivotal moment, but it really was.
Different people grow up in different ways.
Yeah. Well, like I was always like more mature for my age. I did a lot of like, I was like the family babysitter for my entire life.
You're mature in some ways.
Yeah.
I think you were mature in that way.
I like recessed. When I turned 18, I like went back and I was like, no, I want to party, and I want to, even though I really didn't I went to like a lot of like rock shows and stuff, but I never like, I wasn't like a party girl. So I wanted to like go do that, I guess. I mean, It just depends on how you. I dabbled in stuff I shouldn't have done when I was younger, but anyway.
But that was that was the thing that sort of reconnected us a little bit, and I think at that point it was like one of those it got us talking again, and at that point it was like, well, I guess I'll start coming down there. I'll come down there and we'll just try it. We'll just try it and see what happens.
You were just like, you have to get out. You have to.
Well, that comes later.
Oh, okay.
So that comes later. So, I'm gonna say that happened you gave me that phone call in like November of 2012, and that is kind of when we started talking again, and I was like, okay, like we'll try this, we'll see how this goes. I'm still very like cautious about you.
Yeah, I could tell you were.
But we'll try this, you know.
You had every reason to be, so.
Yeah, I was just very like, I wanted it to work because I still had feelings for you, obviously, you know, even a year plus.
But I think you were also testing the waters to make sure I wasn't just being vulnerable, and you didn't want to take advantage of my vulnerability.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
I didn't want to be that guy that just like swoops in and just like, oh,
like,
I'm so great.
Gotcha.
Knight in shining armor.
Yeah.
No,
Remember how I saved your life?
Yeah, I didn't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
But like I was like, let's try this out and see how it goes, and at that point you had done a lot of growing up, and sort of we did that for a couple of months, and as that happened, as I kind of slowly started to date you for real this time, weirdly, because if you think about it, the whole like talking on OkCupid, texting and all and talking on the phone, all this. And then really only having one date prior, one real date prior.
Yeah, date.
This gave me an opportunity to properly date you for a couple months.
Way more often.
I came every other week.
Yeah.
For about 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
And it was then that I started to realize your situation and how bad it had gotten. Our dog Herbie was about like 2 months old when I came into the picture, and do
you remember for Valentine's Day, you came up there and you got her and I stuff, and you got her like this little like leather vest. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And like toys. I think we still literally some of the toys she has now
probably
are some that you've bought.
Yeah.
But yeah, she couldn't fit into it. I guess
she was too fat.
Well, she grew really fast since like from the first time that you met her, and then like this when you came for help. Because like you said, you came every other week. And so she was like way bigger at that point. But I thought that was really sweet that you like got something for my dog for Valentine's Day. I was a big fan
you
of that.
and Herbie stuff.
Yeah.
Herbie a little basket.
I couldn't tell you what you got me.
I don't remember.
But like was that when you got the bracelet?
Yeah, it was that bracelet you never wear.
I never wear jewelry. It's just I know, it's a curse.
So that happened, and I started to sort of realize how bad your living situation had gotten, and how bad the dog's living situation had gotten.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, like this is really fucking stupid. This is like really fucking stupid. But do you want to like move in with me?
Yeah.
Really bad idea, but do you want to move in with me? And so talked to my parents about it. I was living with my parents at the time, and working at a place. I don't know if I was working at GameStop at the time. And I ended up all within like a couple of weeks of each other. Literally, I think the week before I went to pick you up for like your basically move out date is when like the falling out with GameStop, like after I left GameStop. So I was unemployed. And then you moved in just like back to back, and you didn't have a job in in Louisiana, obviously. You took a few months to find a job because your friend's wedding was coming up, and it was just a fucking
my best friend was getting married, and I was the maid of honor, and I didn't want to request off like all of the little stuff, like the bridal parties and like stuff like that on a brand new job that I'd be like a month into. So I was just like, and I didn't think that would take that big of a toll on us. At the time, I was like, it's just a month, it'll be fine. But
it was just a perfect shitstorm of like, and and it's funny because like I was unemployed. You were unemployed for like 4 months. I was unemployed for twice that long. and it was a total shit show, and I hated it. It was one of the worst times of my life. Yeah. But
I honestly
don't regret it though, because I like that we went through that together, and
it's so early.
Yeah,
like in our real relationship.
Yeah, really, that was our.
Like we were living with your parents, but we still had to buy all of our own stuff. Like mom made dinner every night and stuff like that.
Well, we didn't, but I'm really proud of the fact that I never asked anybody for a dime.
Yeah.
Never asked.
We still had like car notes and car insurance and like stuff like that.
I literally like would do like little side jobs and fucking sell shit on Buku a lot and
I never realized
just to keep your head afloat, our heads afloat,
I really had no idea how much you actually sold on Buku to like keep us I never really
pay the bills,
that.
baby.
Baby, I'm gonna take care of you.
Take care of you, my kin.
Ew, stop.
Take care of you, my puppy. But we
and I remember the thing that I was most anxious about with moving in with your parents was Herbie. I was like, oh, she's just a little puppy. Because puppies, man. Because she was at the phase where she was eating, like, everything. Like, she was tearing up paper. And I think she was housebroken by then. No, barely.
She was a lot better by the time she finally moved in.
Yeah. And so I was just like, oh, my God. And she was already, like, super nervous. She didn't really like people. And
there's a whole episode about Herbie that you can go back and listen to if you want to.
So yeah, I was really anxious, and like I remember when I first moved in with y'all, I didn't like. I never wanted to leave your room. I was like, "Can you go get me some water?
Yeah,
I'm so thirsty."
You're I would only scared.
I would only go to the bathroom like in the dead of the night.
It's a scary situation. Yeah, but my parents. They love you, and they loved you from the start.
Yeah,
really.
They really did.
They loved you. I
thought
they
were
being
so fake, and now that I know them, I'm like, oh,
they just really genuinely loved you from the start, and they understood your situation.
Probably because I was the hottest thing you ever brought home.
Well,
just kidding.
but yeah, and 5 years later, here we are. We moved into an apartment together October of last. Sorry. The October before last, we moved into an apartment together. Yeah. Which is our first kind of like foray into living on our own. We bought a vehicle together. Yeah. We live and work in the same town, opposite schedules, but we just sort of have our little life here with
adulting.
Little adulting life here with two pets and doing our own thing. We are very, we're both healthy, ish.
I was gonna say enough.
I mean, we're fucking fat, but we're not. But we're healthy.
A little too healthy.
We're a little too rotund. But we're healthy and happy, and we live comfortably, and we are ahead of all of our bills. We're not in major debt. I mean, we have credit card debt, but we're not like in super huge debt or anything like that. And we, which I'm happy about. Yeah. We never have to ask anybody for anything. Nope. We're very self-sufficient, and
that's always been important to me.
Yeah, and we're getting married in October. We're doing it almost entirely alone. Yeah,
mom and dad want to help us more.
Mom and dad are helping.
They want to help us more than we want to let them.
Yeah,
I know that I have to let them help a little bit because they'll fight us. But I'm just like
mom and dad are gonna help. Mom and dad are gonna help for sure. Because they want to.
Yeah, they want to.
But by and large, we're doing it on our own and just off of our hard work. And I really sort of like, I guess, respect. I'm proud of us.
Yeah.
I'm proud
of you.
I'm proud of you.
Ew.
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 I'm proud. I'm proud of what we've accomplished based on our, I guess, origin story. Because it was like just a lot of ups and downs, which any relationship is ups and downs.
It was so early in our relationship too. So that it was one of those things where like every relationship has its ups and downs, but most relationships have like they've built themselves up enough to know that like if they have a down they can get back up, and we like didn't know that. We got down, we're like, fuck, we're down, like that sucks, but we didn't really think that we can get back up.
I could not imagine going through those hardships with anybody else.
I couldn't imagine being with anybody else right now.
I could. I'm just kidding.
A man?
Yeah. Idris Elba wouldn't be too bad.
A black man.
No, but I just think that if you are alone this Valentine's Day, that's totally okay. Don't ever feel like you need somebody else. But
because I definitely did not need you. I didn't. I never needed a man.
You never. A woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle.
Yeah.
You know, that's a classic saying.
Yeah, there's one very important thing that you have to remember when you're feeling lonely on Valentine's Day is masturbation.
You always got Pamela Anderson.
Pamela Anderson.
But no, like on some real shit though. Yeah. On some real shit, if you're feeling lonely this Valentine's Day and you like feel like a loser because you're trying online dating or whatever, like it kind of works sometimes. Yeah. I'm not saying all the time, but like in our case, like, you know, online dating worked for us.
It literally everything was working against us. I was outside of the mileage that you had put on your filter. And
low match percentages.
Low match percentage.
You were not. I was 90 plus, baby. 90. I was in that 90 plus club. I said, if you ain't matching me 90 plus, bitch.
You know what's weird, actually? The people that I matched really highly with only answered like 5 or 6 questions, and that's why I matched with them so highly.
That's kind of
so
flawed.
Like But I answered.
I had it set in my settings to where
it had to be like 50.
It had to be like I think 100 plus.
100 plus questions. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, you got standards, baby.
Yeah, bitch. I ain't here to play no games. So like the fact that you had like a 64 match percentage meant that we matched on, I guess, 64% of all 64 or less questions,
and it worked out for us. So it's not even always just in the percentages and like the.
And that's just the way OkCupid does things. But I'm just saying, my point is, online dating is not for losers. Yeah. It can work. People are people. Just be prepared. It's really fucking hard.
Yeah.
Long distance relationships are really fucking hard. Yeah. You know.
There's a huge stigma against online dating. My boss is older. She's like in her 40s. And when she was like, oh my God, like I can't find anybody. And because she's been looking or whatever. And she's like, I know everybody in this town. I'm like, dude, on some real shit, like online dating. And she's like, really? And I was like, that's how I met Seth. And like, it's weird because a lot of people know you and they don't really know me, but because they know you, they love me. And because like you're just a really lovable person. That was actually my favorite thing about you when I first met you is like you don't have any enemies. Like everybody adores you. Everybody I've ever talked to like loves you.
I try.
Yeah, you're just genuinely a good person. But so people would just love me just because I was associated with you. So people like we've always been like, oh man, like goals basically. So she was like, what? Like you and Seth met online? Like really? Like that? You could find that online, and you can, but you have to like filter through a lot of bullshit before you get there. And it's worth it. It really is.
Yeah.
And you're not a loser for that. She actually is marrying somebody this year that she met online after I told her I had that conversation with her. So
yeah, yeah.
It's really sweet.
It's like they say in South Park. In that episode with did you ever see that episode with Chat Roulette? Like around the time Chat Roulette came out, where like I think it was Butters or somebody was trying to like make friends on Chat Roulette, and people were just kept jerking off in front of him.
Yeah.
And Cartman has the line where he says like, if you want to have a meaningful relationship with someone, you got to wade through all the dicks first.
Yeah.
And that's true.
I sure did that.
Oh shit! just a tidal wave of cocks. But no, I'm proud of us. I'm proud of what we have, and I'm gonna marry the fuck out of you in October.
I'm gonna marry the fuck out of you.
Oh, bitch.
Bitch. I love you, bitch.
I love you, bitch.
I ain't never gonna stop loving you.
Bitch. But yeah. Thank you for being with me for the past 7 years and counting, and I love you very much.
I wouldn't do it with anybody else. I love you too.
Do we want to kiss on the mic?
Yes.
Let's do it.
We didn't. What? No.
I know.
What the fuck?
I know. Let's.
Okay. Now we only have to do 2 though.
No, and then 3. Do all 3.
2 and then 3. Okay. Now we have to do 3.
Okay. All right. You guys been listening to Nerd Bourbon. If you had a good time listening to us be lovey-dovey idiots, why don't you go ahead and throw us follow, a sub on whatever service you're listening to us on. If there's a service we aren't currently on that you want us on, let me know so I can make that happen. If you have any questions, thoughts, comments, concerns, or just mentions of disgust at this episode, please leave them for me, and I'll read them on the show. You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/nerdbourbon, and we are at nerdbourbon on Twitter. Beyond that, the best and only way for us to grow is if you tell your friends. So thank you guys so much for listening. Happy Valentine's Day. Get fucking dunked on. Bye.
Bye.